Hi, I'm Matthew Anderson. Welcome to this presentation and well done on taking that first step towards starting or expanding your very own business. You're going to love it. Now, the first thing that I would like to share, because in all of my years of business studies, if there's one thing that I would pass on to someone else looking at starting a business, that would be the importance of our why. Because if we get our why sorted out and we can focus on that, then the how and what and everything else just falls into place. So we'll sort that out first, yeah? Some of my whys are songwriting, playing guitar, even cooking, writing these videos and posts for my personal branding business, taking my loved ones on holidays, you name it. The list is endless. So our list of whys should really be just that, endless and continuously expanding into new states of existence. Now, some whys for some people might be that they feel like they're worth more than their job, or have that creative sort of urge within themselves that they want to feed. Or it might even be that they just don't like their job or the people that they work with, because there's usually that one person that wrecks it for the other 99% of people that I've worked with that have been awesome. And I've spent years sort of trying to escape those people, but more importantly, to try to feed my fulfillment of whys. And one day, after working with many people that I didn't like, they didn't like me, I decided to do something about it. So here's a place where I wasted way too many of my years in a similar environment to this. I worked with people who had pretty much come here to die, and they weren't happy in their lives, and they were taking it out on other people, which is a shame because it's not going to fix the situation. If I would make any moves to, do something better, some of the people would have the attitude of, oh, what do you want to do that for? Just try to cut me down. And I think I don't know what it is, maybe fear that I'll leave and someone else might be leading a better life than them, whatever it is. And just across the road, someone came out. I was filming across the road in that direction, and someone came out and, asked me what I was doing. It's a public area, so I don't know what that person's problem was, or it's just like a really fearful sort of attitude. So I'm happy that I'm no longer working in this environment, and most of the people, like I mentioned, are fine. It's just that small percentage that just sort of wreck it for everybody else. Anyway, I put some ads out not long ago, and I thought I would try and help these people that work in factories or warehouses, but all I got was negative comments, and it made me feel a little bit sort of disheartened to the whole thing. But now I'm no longer targeting those people. They can be miserable in their jobs, and I can just be happy doing this. And this is a scene that is all too familiar as well. It sort of saddens me to think of what I could have created in the time that I spent here. It's pretty impressive, but yeah, not going back. So about 10 years ago, I took my son here, and I wasn't happy in my job at the time. I wasn't in good health, wasn't really having time to do the creative things that I wanted to do. And I would get home from work and I'd be exhausted because I was doing like factory work, but it was just weird hours. I would have rotating shifts where I would sometimes not get home until all hours of the morning, and I didn't get time to see my family. So I like to come here every now and then and just reflect on how far I've come since then. I'm in better health, for starters. I got more time to spend with the ones that I love, and I can do videos like this whenever I feel like it, but I've got more time to spend on creativity, like my songwriting and playing guitar, all sorts of stuff that I get to do. But that day that I came here, it's always important to look back on times like this and see how far we've come. So at this spot just here behind me is where I took my son on my roster day off, which was like a pontoon of freedom in those days. And it was a round trip, so it probably took about 3 or 4 hours to get here and then get back home. But we got fish and chips on the way and ate them over there, and he would get rocks from here and put them in, or throw them into the rock pools behind me, and just giggle. It was such a beautiful moment. And I don't know if you can see behind me, but it looks like the roof of the London Bridge, or in Portsea, Australia, Victoria, has actually collapsed. And it's good to know that I haven't quite collapsed yet. It's kind of a lame, thing to say, but it's always good to come here and think of that moment, because I sat right over there and looked out at Noah throwing the rocks in the pool, and I thought at that moment, I'm going to do something different. And so the search began to find a better way to make a living. The next subject I'd like to cover is the idea that we need to find a product that we get a decent commission on. Now, when I first started, I sold my guitar because I wanted another one. But then that made me think, hello, what have we got here? I could make a living from this. And I'm very passionate about my music. But in the end, it didn't really work out, because I was only making $5 or $10 per item and spending hours working on that, buying the merchandise, paying for the advertising and all of that sort of stuff. So I might have maybe broken even in the end and still have merchandise sitting in my cupboard. So then a few years went by and I did a course on drop shipping, and that's where you don't actually have to buy merchandise. We can just send orders through to the company and they'll send it out to the customer. Now, that was all fine and dandy, but I had a lot of troubles finding a company that would deal with someone who had never sold their products before. So then time went by, more time, more money not made. But then I got onto this company that sold medical products to hospitals, and now they're available to the general public. And these things are wonders, little wonders of things. I believe that they are beneficial to the whole human race as far as health goes. And I know that I've had my fair share of health issues, and I thought, wow, when I found this product, I thought, wow, where was this when I needed it? So I just jumped straight in, and I have mentors who make and are still making, have made and still making literally thousands and millions. They're millionaires just from selling this one product. There are other products, but this is just an example of how we can leverage, the internet and social media, digital marketing. The list goes on what you could call it, but we can really make a decent living out of selling these products and getting other people on board. So I figured if my mentors can do it, so can I. That's a very important attitude to have in this business. And this company has been going for 40 plus years, so it's got a solid foundation, which is good when you're dealing with a company, because if you build something up, you want it to stay around for a while, not just build it up like I have with working with some musicians, like rehearsing for months and then doing one show and then the band splits up. So there's a clue as to what the product is, and it's behind me. Now, one thing I don't miss about working for somebody else is having to get up in the morning and get stuck in this traffic behind me. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a theme park sign behind me. And one thing about running our own business is we can take our kids to a theme park and not be waiting for an hour and a half for one ride, like my son did when he went to a birthday party. I know there's a certain calmness in the environment when everyone else has gone to work, and I can choose to work on a business that I actually enjoy. And I can do a video like this here. I can be here. I could be here. I could be here. Getting on a plane, going to wherever I want. Or a truck. I could do a video from here. I can be in here. Or here. I could be at the top of these stairs. And there's also the importance of finding a mentor or a group of mentors to show us the ropes. Because when I first started, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to set up a business account on Facebook, or have an ad, or even how to write a decent post or have inspiring content. The list goes on again. But it's important to not necessarily copy our mentors, but to just get a bit of guidance, because it's important to have our own little flavor or our own creativity in what we do. A lot of other people, digital marketers, would do like a presentation involving PowerPoint or something like that. As you've noticed, I prefer to get out into nature and have a nice backdrop instead of having my bedroom or my office or my studio, whatever you want to call it. So I can point you in the right direction as far as products are concerned. If you've had years of experience in running a business, and for those of you who are new to this whole thing, there's an online digital marketing course that has been developed by professionals in this industry. They've had years of experience, but more importantly, they've made their mistakes, which we can learn from. It can be applied to an existing business, whether that be selling products or services, and it's certified, so it can be applied to a regular job. By itself, it does nothing, because we need to make it work. So a few things that this course covers are copywriting. Now that's where we learn how to tell an engaging story that people just like us can relate to. There's personal branding, which is getting people to know this, our face. Now, if people know and trust us, they're more likely to want to do dealings with us. Like an example is, say, Paul Hogan. He could pretty much sell anything. And there's also sales funnel. That is where we learn at what point to put our content, or which order in which to put it into. So you wouldn't just go straight for the throat and put out what's called a call to action to, the masses. We would need to get people to know, like, and trust us. There's the business side of things, where we learn how to crunch numbers in order to get our goals. Now, it's no good to just throw random action out there and hope to succeed. It goes over the importance of having an overall goal and then breaking it down into smaller increments that we have actions on each day. There's the technical side of things, like opening a business page, having a website, having email and messenger, going between all of it. Now, that did my head in when I tried to get that information for free. I'd get halfway through an instructional video and realize it was outdated. And there's also probably my favorite thing, which is traffic. That goes over how to use Ads Manager, how to get an audience, how to get all of that information and have it for the next time you're going to put an ad out. It's very pinpointed, so you get an audience and you break it right down into someone who is like us, really, because we can easily write an ad for ourselves. There's content, which goes over the different elements of engagement. It's how to make it about the consumer and stand out amongst the crowd. It's getting into the emotions of the people and what makes them tick. There's the follow-up, why we don't get sales, how we can relate to people. And there's finances. Now this goes over obviously what to do with your money once you make it, but it also goes over tax benefits. That in itself is worth starting a business. We can make thousands and thousands of dollars more each year just from not having to give the government as much money. It also goes over what I started this whole presentation with, and that is the why we make money. It's like we need to have a look at what we want out of life on a regular basis, because that changes, and work out how we can make the money to pay for those things. Now, if all of that wasn't enough, there's live webinars on a daily basis, pretty much, from around the world, from people who are just like you and I, but they found a way to make it work. And they share their secrets with us for free. There's access to social media platforms from the producers of this course with updates and tips and tricks. When I first started it, I felt a bit overwhelmed with all of the information, but if we get it done sort of little bit by little bit, then we'll get through it and have a successful business at the end of it all. If we're holding off or backing off from starting something that we know we'll benefit from, there's a good chance that there's some irrational, subconscious thing that's holding us back, that's causing it. And it's fear, usually. It can be fear, apathy, even death, worrying about death. So if someone offers something to us and we know it's going to maybe cost a bit of money, we sometimes worry about it, because in the past a lot of people have actually died over money. So the overall subject becomes a bit of a feared thing. So it's important to be able to push through that initial fear, because once you're on the other side of something like I am with starting my own business, I know that everything's going to be fine. So just take that on board. Now, this thing could be for you if you believe in yourself, if you are determined and stick at what you start. It can be for you if you know that you can, and don't listen to others that tell you that you can't. Now, when I first started this online business shenanigans, I thought I'd just focus on the local market in Australia. But it can become a global business. So because it's a attraction marketing technique, if you want to call it that, it can branch out to the whole world. And that means that customers or leads come to us, and we don't have to rely on selling to our friends and family. Now, in saying that, they'll probably see my success or our success and want to join up anyway. There's an exercise that I'd like you to try. Think of what that why was and what first got you interested in starting your own business, and what the ultimate day in the life of that life would sound like or would consist of, and how much would it cost to live that every day? And what we do is we times that price, whatever it is, by the amount of time that we've been putting off running our own business or starting our own venture. Most people are astounded as to what that figure is and sign up to what I'm doing straight away. I know I did. So what we probably should do now is book a call with me, because I love helping people. So even if we don't end up signing up to anything, at least I'll know that I have helped somebody, even if it's just to get a bit of clarity as to what our goals might be, or know where we want to go in our lives. So book a call with me. I won't bite much and I look forward to talking to you. Okay, bye.